again, publicly. I'm about 70% advanced with a new book that's called The African Diaspora to the Bahamas. But nobody has never really touched it. Little fragments here, little fragments, little fragments there. And it's the story of the migration of people of African descent to these islands. And some of the information that I have gotten is really incredible. I mean, it's just got my mind a boggle. I'm doing a bit of writing today, and I'm realizing that there is so much of our history that really needs to be kept. Did you know? I'm going to digress somewhat now because I'm preparing a lecture. I've been invited to speak to for independence for Emancipation Day in Bermuda, and I'm putting together a PowerPoint for that. It's a national event that they're having. But do you know that the straw work that is so wanted here, the Bermudans brought that here first, before they took it to the Carolinas, where some of it was switched around a little bit, adopted, and then came here as well. And then combine that with the Indian influence, the Native American, sorry, it's so used to saying Indian. And that's where we got our straw work from. There is so many interesting things that I have come across that it literally just have my mind boggling. Let me do this, sorry. I don't know if there's any questions.
Any questions? Hey, Joe. Lady in the back, and I can speak.
Could you say a little bit more about your thoughts? You said that the Civil War was about economics. And you didn't say any, yeah, you didn't explain anything about why you were saying that.
I'm trying to go fast, but the threat was to the Union. The bulk of agriculture in the United States was really in the South. The North had become more industrialized. One was not going to survive without the other one, primarily because both were trading with Britain. So if the North had lost the South, if there had been separation, then you would have had two competing countries for the same market, same common market. So Abraham Lincoln said, I need to preserve the Union. It was the Union being preserved. It was not the slaves. The reason why, because the South was slowly becoming industrialized anyway. Slavery was going to fade anyhow. But it was convenient to use slavery because you could raise the moral outrage. See?
Thank you.
You mentioned something about the Spanish being here for about 3 years, on around 17. Just clarify that.
The last campaign of the U.S. Civil War, the U.S. War of Independence. You might have seen that book, folks, the historians. The last campaign really was the South Carolina. The name is slipping me right now. The boat was called the South Carolina. It went to Cuba to trade. It had just been built in Amsterdam. Now, France was supposed to be a neutral country. And so, how the U.S. got their goods, I'm going to get to it right now. How the U.S. got their goods. And they needed help badly. How they got their supplies, ammunition, food, whatever. They would have the boats built in Amsterdam. And then it would be put in somebody else's name. And some other country will bring it over. And then the U.S. would acquire it. One of the states would acquire the boat. In this case, South Carolina acquired this boat. And this boat was called after the state, named after the state, South Carolina. It went to Cuba to trade because they had to make the boat work to pay for the investment. When it went down to Cuba in 1776, actually, there about 1776. When it went down to Cuba to trade, the Cubans said, listen, we need to use your boat to help us capture Nassau. The local people to continue to trade as long as they did not turn their ships into privateering against Spanish trade.
This is the same group that the boat.
You had 4 different invasions. The first one was by Hopkins, Ezekiel Hopkins. That's, the conquest of Nassau. Back of the book right here, very first one. The second, sorry? I'm sorry? Rathbone, right. Rathbone was the second one. Devo was the third, and these jokers were the fourth. 4 different invasions of Nassau.
You said Columbus's voyage was funded by merchants from,
Merchants of Venice.
bankers from Venice.
Merchants of Venice, yeah.
Why didn't
First
the
voyage.
why didn't the Italians push for colonies in the New World if they found his first
Well,
voyage?
They were the great bankers of the world, number 1. The Medici family was arguably Bill Gates of the world, number 2. Number 3, if they could corner the whole world, then they'll corner the whole world. It's pure economics. If they could finance that trip and corner the gold that's supposed to be down in the Americas, which they didn't even know that then, but all they were looking for is to corner the market. And so like people with money normally do, they invest wherever they can. But remember, the Spanish were just coming out of war and had no money, quite frankly. They were just struggling. 1492, literally they were just struggling. You know what? That's very similar to when you want money today, go to the Chinese. They got the surplus. Okay? Putting it in real terms.
Any other questions? No?
What caused the tsunami of 1865?
I wish I knew, I don't know, but I understand it was explained as a very serious hurricane. Where I remember with Hurricane Andrew, when it was reported that the water rolled back and the sky was in current.
Yeah.
You remember that, of course. And he was on the second story. And he looked outside and he saw the water rolling back. Andrew was just, what, 92, 82, whatever it was? 92. He saw the water rolling back. And then he saw it coming forward. Now, current hotel is on a little slight knoll, and then that's a 2-story building. So arguably what you're talking about maybe is about 30, 35 feet. And the water came that high and smashed through the windows. So I would imagine this was some sort of seismic occurrence that might have caused the hurricane, or it was, the waves, or it was a hurricane, a very serious hurricane that came. But what happened was it literally hit Providence, among other islands, and rolled over. It was just that high. And it destroyed, most of the businesses were either on Bay Street or over on Hog Island. A lot of businesses were on Hog Island. Wiped them all out. Yeah, leave you.
Good.
Oh, sorry. I thought you was asking something. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Man, that was very, very interesting. I learned a few things, and I think we all did. Very, very nice. So the next meeting is on the 11th of April, that's the Wednesday just after Easter Monday. See you all then. Don't forget to pay your dues. Have a good night.